close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Hello, my friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this bank holiday England weekend. So just let us know where you are in the world. Thanks very much, ladies and gents, for everybody that's been joining us over the past 8 weeks now. So hope you're all well. Guys, tonight it is the question and answers with a hypnotist tonight. It's your chance, your opportunity to throw as many questions as you like at me. If it's regarding hypnosis or my opinion on certain things, I will say certain things, of course, and then go down that route there. Just first off, how did you find last night? Did you enjoy last night? That's the main thing. Did you enjoy it? Just let me know in the comments, by the way, if you enjoyed last night's little gig with Simon, and a big shout out to Simon. And thanks very much for your participation. Obviously, to all members, it will be open to all members for those people who wish to join in future. So yeah, just give us a shout out. Let us know where you are in the world. And can you hear me loud and clear? That's the main thing. Good. Hi. Right. So let's do the hellos. Let's do the hellos. Brandon, he's always in. Don't forget, guys, it's competition night every Friday. We have a competition. So those people who are members, I'm giving away something different tonight. I'm giving away something else tonight. But however, it'll still be a bit of fun right at the end of the session tonight. So don't forget it's competition night. So Brandon, he's always first in the queue. James, hope you're well over in Bulgaria. David McHugh, good morning, dear sir. James Carroll, hope you're well over in Michigan. Subliminals for you, hope you're well, hope you're fine. Cy, hope you're well, hope you're fine. Let us know how you were after the session, how you were this morning. It's always interesting. Levi, hope you're well, my dear friend. Shane Swaney, hope you're well. Jackie Brennan, big thumbs up for you. Mario, hope you're well, hope you're fine. Wait a minute, it's just bounced. Eric, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon for you, sorry. Wendy Serber, hope you're well. Wendy Cheverton, hope you're well. Roger, hope you're well. Simon, already said that one. Eric, Elaine, hope you're well. Patrick, hope you're well. David Grazy, hope you're well. Ray Duffy, hope you're well. Good. So it's a Q&A evening tonight. Just let us know how the sound is. I haven't touched anything from last night, and I promise I won't touch mute. Atina, hope you're well. And Angela, hope you're well. All right, Eddie, hope you're well, hope you're fine. So yeah, so just start punting the questions in really on anything really that could help you in your business or in what you're doing. Really, any ideas? Just let us know. Can you do the competition at halftime, as they may have to abandon you? You see. Oh, we'll see what happens. Let me just see what happens. Yeah, okay, cool. Cluck. Lol, I'm good. Bag decline in the car park this morning. I don't know how to read that out. I don't know how you would read that out after a hypnosis session. Cluck. Lol, I'm good. I bagged a client in a car park this morning. Now, all I'm going to say is with my ex-police officer head on, that doesn't sound right. All right, so we'll just leave that one there. Right, so good. So yeah, any questions? Let's start firing them in. I hope you enjoyed last night, and like I said, big shout out to Simon for everything that he did and for joining. And like he said, he looks like he got some results from it as well. So that's the main thing about that. Cool. So yeah, anyone got any questions? Fire them in. Friday, Freak Out Fridays. That's what they are. Good. So yeah, so 28. So okay, so next week we will be doing the hypnosis session live with a non-smoker. I've already started the process with him, so while I'm just waiting, I will do this. I've already started the process with him. Like most of you know, we've stopped smoking. I do a week before. So what I tend to do is I give them, it's all about making them responsible for their own actions. We all know that. It's about being responsible for their own actions. So what I tend to do is a week before is have like a mini session with them. Okay. And in that mini session there, what we do is we set the parameters, do a little bit of hypnosis to see if we can get hypnosis, set the belief patterns off, do a little bit of mathematics with them, show them how much they're spending on cigarettes and that type of stuff. And then what we do then is for that 7 days, what we do then is we just start slowing it down. Okay. And then what we do then is we tell them to, if they're on like this fellow that's coming in next week to do the live with us on this channel, what we do is we progressively tell him to come down. So if he's on 30 cigarettes, I want him to be on 25 by the next day. Then I drop him down another 5, then another 5, then another 5, then another 5. Good evening, Sheila and Colette in New York. So yeah, so what we do is we do that. So I've already done that. So next week, good evening, Jackie and Miles. And so we've already done that bit. We did that off cam, and then when we get to the live next week, he should be in a position where he is, either craving a cigarette or just doing that. Okay. Cool. Okay, so we'll catch up on that next week. David McHugh, do you use aesthetic for medical operations? You can do a glove anesthesia, glove analgesia. If you're looking at both of them like that, you've got both of those that you can work with there. I think it's, I've worked with dentists before and numbed jaw lines and stuff like that to allow them to facilitate that. Everything that I've done though has been under the radar due to the fact of certain organizations like the British Medical Association or the Dentistry Association, all that type of stuff, frown on it and all that, unless you're a clinical doctor. And unfortunately, I'm not, but I can get the job done, and my dentist knew that, so I have done it. But when we do on diplomas, when we're doing diplomas, we will always demonstrate the power of glove anesthesia and analgesia as well. Anesthetic, yeah. So I will do it, but yeah, you can use it. There are some cases and famous cases of people doing actual big operations under hypnosis under hypnosis. But if you go to my YouTube channel and go look at the tattoos one, same principle. So removing the pain for tattoos is the same principle, the same thing that I would do if I was going to perform an operation, and the only thing I've ever done is dentistry, to be quite honest. I've helped people out before in certain situations when I was a police officer, but that's it. Carol, having trouble getting on. Anyone else? It doesn't appear so, because people are asking questions. Okay, how do you spot? There we go. Okay, how do you spot overload in a subject during a hypnosis session? I think that's a great question, Mario. I think the key thing to look out for is like the exhaustion. Just by looking at them, you will be able to calibrate and watch what they're doing. You'll be able to watch their facial expressions, their body. You'll just see them when they just start to slump and just look like, I'm shattered. That type of scenario. That's what I'm looking for. So overload as well is if they've had a mass session where they've just offloaded tons and tons of stuff. That's where I go, I think we need to just wind this down a little bit. I make an executive decision myself, not them. All right. So just watch the client. Calibration is key to being a good hypnotist. Calibrating with your client. And like I keep saying as well, just calibrate all the way through. You'll pick up on it. You will pick up on it. Good evening, Jules. Evening, Vic. Right. Okay. Angela Rich, have I ever done hypnobirthing? Yes, I have. Lots and lots and lots of them. All I tend to do is remove any of the fears and phobias and anxiety, stress and strains that may have been left in the past. Because remember, with childbirth, if we go back to this, little girl is listening to all the mummies that are listening, that are having their coffees, and they're all talking about how their pregnancies went. You know, everyone's had more stitches, everyone's had more cuts, everyone's talked about being opened up and coming out the top, all that type of stuff. And those little suggestions, those little suggestions that I've found, that when youngsters are listening to those, it amplifies. So when it comes to them wanting to give birth, when they're up, the key thing is that those fears and phobias, those anxieties are all in there. And then what happens is that they have all those fears and phobias built. So my job technically is to clear out all the fears, the phobias and anxieties that may well have been caused, put in some self-esteem and confidence, get the birthing partner, whoever that is, in on it as well, and put some powerful anchors in with that. The key thing about it is about relaxation and knowing they're safe. We all know that, that obviously childbirth isn't the most easiest thing, not that I can ever say, but I have witnessed 3 children being born. But the thing is that is about making sure that when they can relax, knowing that they're safe and they're in a safe environment if they are with somebody, or in a certain environment as well. All right, so that's what I tend to do with it. But with hypnobirthing, I tend to do it before probably about 3 months out, 4 months out. I've done it as far as that before, 3-4 months out. That's when people start wanting to come forward. It's not normally within those first few months that people ask me to do it. It's normally towards when they start getting a bit nervy. So yeah. Excuse me. I had an IVF client, and exactly the same came up. Oh, here we go. I had an IVF client and said exactly what came up. She remembered hearing her mum talking about it. Absolutely, these are the type of things. I could turn it into a mass course if I really wanted to. But to be brutally honest, you don't need to, as long as you work with some of the staff that's been going on. At the end of the day. But on the same token, that's what you got to do. Just clear that out. If you want to do that, anchor in some good stuff, some really powerful stuff as well. Some stuff around that when they're during the pregnancies, for the pregnancy, and also as well when they're in the hospital or when they're giving birth at the birthing place. Good question. Subliminals. What do you do with a client who does not respond to an induction? Sack them. There's 2 things that have gone wrong. They're not at threshold yet. They're not ready to be they're not ready to make their changes, or or you haven't educated them enough. Your pre-talk's not been good enough. All right, they're either not ready or your pre-talks needs reviewing. That's the way I look at it. Vic Patterson, do you ever get penalized by Google for swearing? Because I swear on my website in text, it feels congruent, but I don't want to get blacklisted. No, no, I don't. No, I'm not. When you think there are people out there that are really proper effing and jeffing and stuff like that, that mine's fairly minimal compared to that as well. Excuse me. Let me just do this. Yeah, so that business question on there, good. Got that. Let me just come back. Having trouble getting on. Do you have a smoker? Sorry if I'm just filtering through. I'm just trying to make sure I'm trying to get. Okay. Miles, how would you use this technique in an emergency situation? Have I missed something? What is it that you want to do as well? I did not go into MPD. Maybe that's a night. Maybe I should spend a whole night doing that. For me to go through that, personality disorders and stuff like that, I just think that That's a gargantuan thing in itself. So my advice is, if you're working with any contraindicated thing, get GP advice, and then go about it that way. But if you're working with multiple, you need to work with the site team every time. You have to work with the site team, because you don't know what you're doing. Here we go. Okay, how long in time do you typically run a session? Great question, Roger. Normally, I average 45 minutes. I always book out 90 minutes just in case I'll go over. I normally just book out the 90 minutes, so I can get a cup of tea in between. But predominantly 45 minutes. On average 45 minutes. Wendy, have you ever worked with ADHD? Yes, I have. Yes. ADHD, it's about calming them, about, all depends what the level of ADHD is, and autism, or, if there's autism involved in anything like that, but the length of what's going on. All right. So, sorry, the how bad is it? But yeah, what with ADHD. But yeah, I do work with ADHD, and I work with the same principles as what I did last night. Excuse me, this room's really dry tonight. Right, so going back to Miles, say if there was an accident and you need to stop bleeding long enough for a doctor. I've been in situations like that. I don't bother my ass. Being an ex-SWAT officer, firearms officer, if I'm in a situation like that, it's a tourniquet straight on. But to calm people down, I have shouted at people that are screaming before in car accidents. I've literally screamed in their faces to draw their attention. And what's hypnosis, and what is hypnosis? It's just focus and imagination. So if you can just get them to direct their attention, however bad it is at that moment in time, if you can direct their attention somewhere else and get them to talk, and that's why you normally say it. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Listen to my voice, and all I want you to do now is just do this. And you normally see that on, you will see that quite a lot when we're dealing with stuff like this. But that's another way of doing it for emergency situations. Anything like bleeding, my little SWAT head goes to tourniquet if it's that bad. But these little things that you not that I suggest that you go ambulance chasing, but if you get the opportunity to work in a tattooist or anything like that, watch what happens when you turn the blood on and off. That's quite interesting. Okay, great question. Bongo. In today's world, everyone seems to be on antidepressants. So what I would say to that is it's dependent on the levels and how long they've been doing it. It's courtesy to speak to the doctor, especially in England. But in my 15 odd years of doing this, I've only ever had one response, and to be quite honest, that was not the best. So all depends on what type of level it is, and to be quite honest, this always goes back to, does the client want it? That's another thing as well. So do I work with clients on antidepressants? Absolutely. But if they're contraindicated, as in psychosis, narcolepsy, anything like that, drug psychosis, they're the ones that they're not antidepressants, they're antipsychotic drugs. Do you know what I mean? So you have to find out what the drugs are. If the person tells you what the drugs are, you can always go find out what they are, and then you can figure out roughly where they're going with that anyway. So yeah. Okay. Parts integration or ego state is a broad area. Do you bother with this, Karl? Yes, I do. Parts Tibet's work. I tend to do Charles Tibet's. For those people who didn't know who came up with parts integration first, Charles Tibet's. If you go have a look at his work, I work with that. It's not my favorite, but what I will do, funny enough, Joseph, that came up a minute ago. Oh my God, somebody asked me that a minute ago. Parts integration, yes, but I tend to use just idiomatic responses that way to deal with it. I find it more fun using idiomatic responses. Ego state work, yes, I do. Yeah, I do use a lot of ego state work. Maybe we'll do some sessions on that over the next few weeks, really, when we're getting people in like that. Miles just asked a question on top of what we just asked there. Right. Joseph, Joseph, no, this was a conversation I had with somebody a little while ago outside of this. Can you work with people with psychosis? Look, at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, telling you as a trainer, this is a contraindicated thing. look, I've told people before, last November, I worked with somebody who had psychosis. A few days later, they committed suicide. You have to ask yourself, people, you have to ask yourself, why would you want to get yourself in a position where you could end up for days and days and days and weeks like I was beating myself up? I didn't do anything wrong. And those people that are in the members area, you know, there's a video up there at the moment and you can watch it. But the key thing is that my personal opinion on this is keep the fuck away from it. They're under a med team. If they've got psychosis under drug or alcohol, whatever it is, then you need to consider there is a lot going on in this person's life. And are you going to be able to support them at that level that they need? And my honest opinion is no. Can you support them and guide them and maybe teach them stuff like EFT, TFT, I don't know, some Reiki, whatever floats your little unicorn boat, right? Then teach them that. As for deep delving, I wouldn't bother. There's a video, you know, where I'm talking about the young lady that chose to take her life. Was she'd already made a decision before anyone critiques me, by the way, and I get this shit, is that she had already booked a session at Dignitas in Switzerland. She'd already done it. We'd already seen the paperwork. Everybody that was on my course in November, and she came along, she kindly said, yeah, I'll be up for that. And I'd like to work with people and I'd like to do something, see if I can change my way. And we helped her. And you know, and it was really nice to see her, you know, have a smile on her face. And she said, I haven't smiled for years. I haven't smiled for years, Carl. I don't feel like I felt that little inner child thing. But little did we know that she had already made a decision. I'm being honest to you guys. I'm being very honest to you. Is that she did go and she did take her own life a couple of days later. And it didn't matter it doesn't matter that I had permission off of the doctor. It didn't matter that I had permission off the psych team. It didn't matter that the family were fully aware. It didn't matter. I'm telling you now, if that subject comes up, get the fuck away from it. Right? Because I do not want anybody to go through what I did last November. I'm telling you now. Even it doesn't matter. You know, should I, could I, would I have? It doesn't matter. We teach people this stuff. We teach people, should I, would I, could I have, and all that lot. We do all that. But when it's your own internal monkey and you were the last person to see that person alive, it does kick in the nuts. My advice is, if you get this knocking on your door, if your gut says no straight away, push away. If you think you could probably get away with it, work with the psych team, but be prepared. I'm telling you now. I am telling you. I laugh and I joke on this channel, but when I've mentioned this before, this case, I'm telling you now. Don't. I'm telling you. I'm just telling you from the bottom of my heart, don't, because I don't want anyone fucking phoning me up and saying, I worked with somebody the other day and they went and took a huge amount of insulin. She'd already planned it. She'd been stockpiling it. She just wanted one happy last day. And I have to sit back and just say to myself, and I know I'm rambling on about this, but I can't get this across enough, is that day, you know, we now know that she stockpiled it, and we know that she left a note saying that my last day on this planet was one of the happiest. But I still have made this decision. That was the thing. And the thing that I'm going to move on from this in a moment, because I think I've kicked the arse out of it. It's an important message, but on the same token, she made a decision, not me. She'd made the decision prior weeks by stockpiling all of her insulin. She did that. And that video is on the back end. So anyone who wishes to watch that, you know, it's in the members area, and you know the family were good anyway. Anyway, I'm going to move on. Not that I need therapy for it, by the way, but I just think I've hammered that fucking subject enough there. What's this? I find that people with dyslexia respond differently to NLP modalities. The picture improves and becomes more sharp, bigger and brighter. It didn't work. Have you noticed any difference in hypnosis? No, I haven't actually, Eddie. No, but it's a good point. It's a good point. No, I haven't. No, I haven't No, I haven't noticed that. I haven't, but it's probably because the way that I work. But you know, it's an interesting thing. I'll be interested to look into that further. Actually, my friend died of suicide a few years ago. Last few days, she's really happy. Yeah, I think, you know, without dwelling on this one too much, I think that the build up, the build up, the build up, the build up, the build up of all of this stuff. I think when it comes to the point where they go, I'm ready, you know. And with this girl, she had already been to diagnosis. Well, I saw the paperwork. I had the date. I had the date and the time that she was going to pass. You know, so you know, I think what she'd done is she'd come to me and she had that last moment of, that's it. I feel really good. Now's the time. I think that was just that reflection. You know, there's nothing I'm going to do about that. I think Vic's absolutely right on this. I'm not sure why people want to take on such difficult clients. You don't. I'm telling you now, and I don't think many people would be honest as much as I am with you. And I don't want to like fucking MBE for it. Most people give me a kicking for it on social media. I'm only being honest with you because I never, ever, ever, ever want to see or hear any of you. And I'm not the first hypnotist. I'm not the first therapist that this has happened to. It just really does strike a chord when it happens to you. And it wasn't ego. And if anyone watches that video, any of the members, it's behind the scenes. You know, I haven't told anyone, but it's behind the scenes. It's the one where I do the bit at the beginning that she's decided to take her own life. So if you are a member, you can go watch the actual video. I didn't do anything, you know, untoward. We discussed what had gone on, and she discussed that she was happy to be there. Site team are happy. Members of the family knew all of that. You know, it's just sad. You know, just one of those things. Yeah, but if you can, keep the fuck away from it. Have a potential client who wants to cut down on something, booze on Friday night, not to give up the odd drink and at meals, etc. But he knows he can get can on Friday nights. This is a choice. That's a choice. You know, if he can control it, why just have Friday nights as just getting battered? He can control it. Don't forget, this is about choice and control. This is about personal people taking control of their own lives. You want to highlight that to them. Is that, look, at the end of the day, if you can do this on a Friday, it's all well and good. You know, we all knock off on Friday and go have a couple of sherbets, this, that, and the other. That's fine. But on the same token, grow a set of balls and own it. You know, if you can do that all week and not do anything and just do it on a Friday, then you can do it whenever you bloody well want. It's a choice. It's a choice. All right. Yeah, that's a good point. With the ADHD and ADD, EFT is a good place to start. It keeps the focus ready, whether you believe in it, whether you believe in its energy, unicorn stroking, or merely self-hypnosis. It's a great point to start. It's just a great way to start to keep them focused. All right. I haven't read this. By the way, I'm clicking buttons and I'm just clicking them. And I don't know what they are. So let me just type. Good evening, Karl. I'm currently considering giving free sessions, absolutely, for cancer patients, not to heal cancer. Sorry, not to heal cancer, but to help with the stuff in the background. Do you have any experience and advice in this field? Okay, I'm going to see if I can get Gary Coles on. Gary Coles deals with nothing but cancer in hospitals with hypnosis. I'll see if I can get Gary on in the next couple of weeks. He may well be watching now. But on the same token, I will speak to Gary and get him on. The way that I deal with this is, especially if it is palliative care, right? If it's end of life, then I don't necessarily focus on the person that's coming. We're having a right morbid night tonight, aren't we? I don't necessarily deal with a person who is coming to the end of their life. And I will do it for free. I've done it for free. Done this for free, bags and bags. The point is that I don't work with the person that's laying in the bed or sitting in the chair that's now coming to the end of their life. I work with the people around it. It's the same principle as when I was working with firearms officers or police officers that had been in some catastrophic incident, as in a firearms discharge that's taken somebody's life, or a police officer that's been involved in a death in custody, or a police officer that's been involved in a fatal road traffic collision. We work with them, but it's predominantly the family. And it goes back to what we were talking about addictions the other day. And people focus on just the client when actually you should be focusing about the people around them, because they're the ones They're the ones that are just lost with this all. They're the ones who need the focus, the direction, the support. They're the ones who need it more than anything. And that's something to really consider as well, that when you're working with these, if you're working with cancer or palliative care, and I like the way that you did say about healing, because that is a strong word. And it was something I was going to bring up tonight, because somebody says, oh, I heal people. Now, this, I'm not going out to offend anyone, but I don't believe that we heal. I believe that the person heals. We merely direct it. Whatever unicorn stroking society you're part of, you choose to have that, right? But on the same token, right, I firmly believe that the client heals himself. We just direct the whatever it is, wherever it is. All right. Whatever unicorn stroking society you're in. All right. So, what I want you to, with that, I'm going to see if I can get Gary Coles on, and let's talk about what he does with cancer patients in hospital. Is that something you'd like to hear as well? Paul Gibson's not on next week, so I'll see if I can get Gary on next week. Paul Gibson's on the week after. He finally answered his phone, and he should be watching this now. Okay, Kerry's just there. Okay, it's Barry Neal's trying to call me. There we go. Here's him done. Okay, I've contacted a local hospice to ask if I can volunteer with patient pain and well-being. That was over a week ago now, and I wonder if they think hypnosis is woo-woo. Right, this is a very key thing, right, guys? This is all about the way that you educate people. If we all educate people, if we all get into the education side of things and educate, putting the videos on your website talking about hypnosis and taking away some of those myths, right? That's the key thing there. If they go to your website, Kerry, and you've got no videos except just a lotus flower and a unicorn pissing up a tree in a corner, guess what, right? They're not going to get it. Whereas if you if you put some videos on and educate people, get a YouTube channel and go, look, this is what I've done before, then that's where it comes from. All right. So I will do that. I'll get Gary on. When do you get a tornado? Answer is when the conditions are right. Absolutely. Yeah. I used to work, where was that there, Wendy? I used to work in palliative care, and often we would be helping the family more than the patients. You're absolutely right. And that's the key thing about this as well, is that a lot of people, they get so, like when I was talking about, yeah, Wendy, when I'm talking, please never, ever, anyone ever take offense. What I'm talking about is, I hope you get my message, what I'm talking about that. So if you have got lotus flowers, please enjoy them. Please, please, please. Yeah, just enjoy them. But on the same token, I want you to get my message, is that they're not going to get the message from a lotus flower and a unicorn being stuck in the corner. What they want is you to tell us, educate us, tell me why this means. And then that's the way you're going to do it. I know you're not. I'm just making sure that some people that may feel like I'm a little bit harsh sometimes. Okay, so sorry, I just lost myself. So true. I'm in a situation with an addicted. Right, so true. I'm in a situation with an addicted family member, and those where there's a lot of absolutely. It's normally the family members, and when I've been involved in England in will not go into details, but I've been involved in some of the most high profiles police shootings since 2005. And before that, I actually got involved in jobs that happened way before I even joined the police, but they came back to haunt us later on. And actually, it wasn't the firearms officer or the police officer that was the biggest issue. It was the family members, and that's where I would like ask you to start focusing. At the end of the day, and look, at the end of the day, look, it's not ambulance chasing. This isn't ambulance chasing. Oh, you look really sad. You look like you need help. No, it's none of that. If they do, you just point out that's what you're doing. And this is where, and I've told most of you before, is to go learn EFT. It's on my channel. It's on my Hypnotist. If you want to go buy it, it's on there as well. If you want to go do that, you can have loads of fun doing that. If you want to look at my online courses, it's there. But on the same token, the more in-depth versions on hypnotist.live. But the key thing is that is if you go learn something like that, it's a bit of a backdoor boogie in. All right. Do you have any video before or after with something like psoriasis? No, but I will get Gibbo, Paul Gibson, who was a dermo nurse for I think 10 years. He was a dermo nurse. He will probably give you all of that type of material when he's on with us, not next week, the week after. Lotus flowers are good. Yeah, good. Good. Any more questions? Have I missed anyone? Yeah, Gary Coles. I'll see if I can get Gary on next week. Right. So let me just come back to this. Yeah, start working with a family. Start working with a family. That's all I'm going to say on there. You know, maybe a little bit of whatever you do, you jiggery pokery and help the person out who's going through that. But sometimes a lot of people have come to terms with what they're now about to go through. You know, they've come to terms with it. You know, I've had all of this time to think about it and come to terms with it. And it's only when the family then get hit by the train that they realize that this is now reality. You know, for the person who's going through it, they've probably realized what's going on. Yeah. Cool. What's that there? The issue, not the issue, etc. Emotional Detox Foundation. Yeah. There you go. No. So any more questions? So yeah, so I'll get Paul Gibbo to answer those questions on psoriasis and see if he's got any videos of before and afters. But it's quite common. It's quite common to work with stress. If you deal with the stress and then the knock-on effects are there. And from talking to Paul, there are lots of research studies. There are lots of things that have happened from that. And just going on to Eddie's there, what Eddie's comment is there is I've had psoriasis. Where are we? I had psoriasis from 15, arthritis from 25. Thinking and mindset is mostly direct effects. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I haven't done that one. But we will get a proper dermo nurse on to come talk about that. Carl, how often do you notice that after working with a client, they experience some change in behavior a few days later, such as anger, anxiety? Yes, absolutely. All the time. All the time. Just imagine that pressure cooker. All we've done is just focus on what's going on there. All we've done is we've just get them to focus on that, and then what we do then is we work around that, and that's the key thing there. But yes, is it possible for things to come out days later? Absolutely. People were contacting me the other day when I did that hypnosis session in here. When I did that hypnosis session, a lot of people, say a lot, 4 people contacted me the day after and said, I went to bed, had the wackiest night, and woke up this morning and felt emotion coming up. Or I did something and I listened to something and it brought emotion up. And that wouldn't normally do that. It's that percolator, it's that pressure cooker. All right. Good evening, Anton, and welcome. Don't forget, ladies and gents, this is a membership site. If you'd like to join, it is only $4.99, $8.99, or $90, depending on what you want. You have to go outside of this channel right now. You have to go back into the channel via a desktop or a laptop, and then press join. Choose the one you want, and then go from there. Why I've got an itchy nose. The snow globe effect. Just imagine that snow globe effect. I know what you meant, David. The snow globe effect, when I talk about that, when I shake that snow globe and all the bits are whirring around, and then they all start to tinkle down and tinkle down and tinkle down, and then go from there. Bongo bongo. I'm going to come back to this. Oh yeah, the snow globe effect. Nice one, Dave. Okay, is it possible to earn a living purely from Zoom? I have done for the past year. So yes. Yeah. All right. So yes, you can make a living just out of that. Make sure tell people and educate the people that you're offering that service. That's the key thing. But don't forget, in about another 3 months' time, with COVID, people will be like, COVID what? Everyone's going to be up to normal mischief than what we were 2 years ago. All right. Simple as. When this crap's over, we'll forget about it, right? Mental health will be forgotten about because everyone's down the pub and everyone's forgetting about the shit, and we'll soon forget about this. You've got to get this into your head now. Is you can go about that way. All right. So what's that? Okay, what's the benefits of membership? Okay, so there's more videos that are being put behind the scene for those people that are on the for on certain schemes. My diploma is in July, and I'm live streaming it in the back. There's videos in the back. On Sunday, I'm having it. I do interviews for those people who don't know on Sunday for my diploma group. Those there are going to start to be uploaded into the background, so then you can watch those interviews that I've already redone. So it gives you an idea about certain things like Freddie Jacquin. The Elman induction with the Elmans, Freddie Jacquin and the Arrow, the Elmans. Who else is there? There's tons of material that's going to be pumped out at the back. All right. Do you believe that rhinitis can be a mental health issue? My client tells me she's had all the tests possible, to exclude a physical issue. It could be down to, I think it probably could be down to diet and stuff like that. Have you checked that out? What do you recommend for nightmares? Hello, darling. Hope you're well, Jennifer. I'm still hoping to see you this year over in sunny Vegas. What I think this is another one of those ones where you're going down a road where we don't know. I always do a mass clear out. I know I sound like a broken record, but I found it effective for the way that I work. Jackie, I'm coming back to you in a moment. Is a mass clear out to find out, because the issue is never the issue. What is causing this to fire off? What's this causing this to fire off? So we've got to get to the core issue. If you want to go try regression to cause, you could do that. I tend to do what's called the pinpointing technique. The pinpoint, where we drop the hand down, drop the hand down, drop the hand down, drop the hand down. We do that. And then you could do that. There's so many different ways. It's very hard when you haven't got a client. That's why I start with the emotional detox and then find out where I'm going to go from there. All right. So I know that sounds a little bit one trick fucking pony. Well, that's because I've done everything and I seem to have found that thing works. Right. It's not a silver bullet, but it does give me direction where to go with it. All right. So I would do that. And plus, you've done that with me in Vegas, I think, haven't you? Jackie, when you're so I hope you're well, sweetheart. Anyway, when you are working with Simon last night in the induction arms in front of you, you asked him to close his eyes before his hands came together. Not seen that done before. Why? Well, don't forget, it's only a pure state of focus, nothing more, nothing less. So I've got his hands like that. I've got him to focus on the middle of his hands. It's called the magnetic hands induction. It's on my YouTube channel, Magnetic Hands Induction. Once he's closed his eyes, that's all I've got. Is I'm just now using his imagination. What are the two fundamental things about hypnosis? Imagination and focus. That's all they are. That's all it is. All right. Good. Okay. So somebody asked me to do the Q&A tonight early, so I will do. I'm going to do it in about 2 minutes time. All right, so we're going to do a Q&A. Don't forget, ladies and gents, it's only open to members. So those people with the little coloured thing. So if like David there is green and their badges all start to change as you progressively go through the membership scheme. You go from green to purples and all that type of stuff as you progress through the charts, and you'll see that. So only those people that are members will be able to answer tonight, and you're going to win the opportunity to. I'm going to do it in about another 2 minutes time. Win the opportunity to do that. To enter the competition. Something different tonight. Right, so does that answer your question, Jackie? I hope it does. It's just pure state of focus, nothing more, nothing less. All right. Rhinitis, have they checked their diet? That's another thing you can check as well, if they've had anything else done. I don't know. Just let me know on that. Okay. Everyone's by their keyboards now, aren't they? They're like that. What's he going to say? What's he going to say? What's he going to say? Have you ever had much success with hay fever? I'll be brutally honest, I've never really targeted hay fever, but I have had people say to me, oh, this has changed, that's changed due to the fact of the hypnosis session or something that's happened during that. And he's saying that while he's scratching his nose because he hasn't got no bloody Loratadine on him. But on the same token, you know, you could work directly with it. Why not? Quite possible. Quite possible. I've had people say it's like that. Anton, yes, I have heard of Yoga Nidra. And no, not really. Well, it comes back to this, right? And I said this the other day. I keep saying this. Everything that we do is a different branch off the same tree. All right? That's the way you got to look at this. And it's the same as when somebody tells me they've got something new or a new technique. and they're like, oh, I've got this brand new technique. You're like, oh, fuck, man. You know, that's the only way I do it now. There's, you know, I'm yet to be really wowed. And somebody says, oh, they'll do this, that, and the other, and then somebody will supersede it in about another 3 years' time because they need to sell you something. A bit like fashion. Okay. Question. Ready? First person to answer it and get it right. The first person to answer and get it right. Don't forget, it's only open to those people that are members. Every Friday, we have a competition. So don't forget, if you're not in this week, make sure you join, and then you can join next week. This is for an hour's long mentoring session with me, to discuss whatever you want. Anyone can be invited tonight to enter. An hour long with me, including the aficionados, just means that one of you may get two. All right, just like that. But on the same token, anyone who's in the green or anyone who's a member, it's an hour long with me to discuss whatever you want. Whereabouts did Sigmund Freud learn hypnosis? And if you're a smart ass, who with? Whereabouts did Sigmund Freud learn hypnosis? And who was one of his teachers? Carl, where's the best place for watching this as my Q&As as I was coming late? Just go straight to the YouTube channel. Nope. David Close. No cigar. Aha! Right. So Jules has got part of it. Levi, you're close. I said, whereabouts? No. No. Ha ha! Jules has got it. Jules has got it. It was in. It was actually this. It was in Nantes. It was in it was Charcot and Bernheim in France. All right, there we go. So the first one was Jules. So she's. Let me just check, because I don't want Jackie coming at me again. No, it wasn't Germany. It was definitely not Carl Jung. There you go. Oh, hang on a minute. So, oh, do you know what? It's happened again. Now, this is the conundrum, right? Because Roger Leo actually got it right, but so did Jules, right? So I'm going to give both of you it, right? Because that's only fair, right? You can both get an hour with me this month, all right? Not this, in the next couple of weeks, right? Not this month. So if you didn't know that, it is Roger Leo was actually got that right. Was the first one to get the correct answer. That he was the first one to get the correct answer. Jules, it looks like you were probably milliseconds behind. However, I will give you that one. All right. So if you didn't know, go have a look at that. All right, Roger. Roger, you've won, and so has Jules as well. Go from there. I will give it. Roger did. They come in so thick and fast, and Jackie always goes, "This one happened, and you did that," and it's because they come in so rapid. The first person I actually mentioned was Jules. The first person to actually get the answer absolutely right on there was that, but actually Jules was right at the same time. All right, so I will say that. So I'm going to give both of you, right? Contact me after this. Make sure you do, and we'll have an hour. We'll have an hour on there. In fact, if you want to, we can sort out a time where both of you can jump on. We can answer. It's up to you. I couldn't give monkeys. All right, but there you go. See, I've just going to slap myself for working too quickly, and I need to really make sure I read these things, but they come in so fast on here. It's unbelievable, because I don't think you realize there is a 15-second delay. So I answer the question, I ask the question, and then 15 seconds later, you get my verb. So I've actually done this 15 seconds ago. If you want to go back to the future, what you're watching now was 15 seconds ago, and that's the delay. So when all the answers come in, they're coming in at the speed of light for me. Good. Happy days. Right. So well done. I know, Jackie, big thumbs up for you. But on the same token, yeah, you two can have a session with me. We can have a big old chat, talk about it what you want. Yeah, actually, Chris, you are spot on there, sir. You are absolutely spot on, because he actually went over to France to learn it and came back because he was fucking useless and said it was shit. That's what the problem was. All right. That's why he did. You're absolutely right, Chris. But I just thought I'd throw that one in. I didn't really want to go down that route, but thank you very much. You are absolutely right, Chris. He was shite. And he did come back to England and denounce it because he was absolutely atrocious at it. Anyway, if you learn more about Freud, you'll realize he probably had more problems than some of his clients. Okay, so Christos, can you tell us some info about sessions, fees, etc.? Could you expand on that? As in, I firmly believe, right, so let me just give you this while if I'm barking up the right tree on this one, is that the way that I see this is that every person who is invested in themselves, if everybody that is invested in themselves should charge adequately, right? I firmly believe, and I tell my students this, that when they leave my diploma on a on a Friday, that when they start work on Monday, that they should be charging a minimum of 99 UK pounds. And then their sessions should be the way that I've mentioned earlier. Sessions should roughly be between 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes long. And that's what I tell them to do. I book an hour and a half out so I can get a cup of tea in. But on the same token, the way that I see it is that you shouldn't be going any longer than that, because you're getting exhausted, they're getting exhausted. Minimum £99. And you should, we talk about this, about scripts. I despise scripts. But I don't mind the idea of new people having a crib sheet. And some people might say, where's the fucking script? It's not a script. Of having a crib sheet in front of them, remind them of techniques. Don't forget, you could use a technique. You know, let's say Old Pain to Go. We'll get Stephen on here one night. We'll get Stephen Blake on here one night to talk about Old Pain to Go. But there's nothing stopping you using that technique modified to your own way to use for migraines, post-trauma, anything. All right. You know, and that's why when I see a technique and somebody says, oh, it's specific for that, it's not. You can use it for everything. All right. So it's like that. So I hope that answers your question, Christos. What you were saying then. Yeah, no notes on the side. You know, I don't mind that. But when we're talking about a PMR written out and then followed by scripts talking about, that's just bobbins, rubbish. All right, I just don't get it, because we're not working with a person. Good, Jackie. Jackie, if it helps, I was unaware that my hands are still moving after I closed my eyes. The monkey brain was doing it. Remember what I had on Carl last night? Yeah, absolutely. Good. Yeah, Tina, you're absolutely right. Yeah, go have a look at go have a look at some of the stuff. And like Chris put up there a minute ago, he was absolutely, he wasn't very good at it. That's why he came back to England and denounced it. Good. Any more questions? Have I missed anything? I'm really sorry. I did see a couple. I'm trying to ferret through these as fast as I can. Can you see me in green? I usually see it, but today I don't. No, Christina. No, you're not. And this is automated. This is done by Google. So I can't, you know, at the end of the day, it's probably something to do with payment or anything like that. Oh, Tina. Yeah. I still need to write some things out in English as it's not my first language. No, I get that. Putting things out there. Yeah. Well, I personally think that any technique can be used in any situation, to be brutally honest. That's the beauty of what it is. Don't forget, all this shit's just made up. So, and that's why kinetic shift, you know, there's so many things in there that help people in a certain situation. You know, there's eye movements, there's modality work, there's a little bit of freaky stuff going on when you're doing the ILS type stuff. But yeah, you know, just does that. Some therapists do 6 to 8 sessions going through all the emotions. Is that necessary? Right. This is client dependent, Miss Hypno. That's client dependent. However, I don't work like that. I will never. Have I seen people for four, maybe 3-4 times? Yes. Do I pre-book them and tell them that they need those 4 sessions? No, I think that's completely and utterly wrong. I think that it should be a phase by phase. Now, business-wise, that's bad. Ethically, I think it's right. That why should I say you need 4 sessions for that? What the fuck? I don't get that. I don't get it. You're forcing that person in 4 times when clearly they could get a lot of the work done in the first session. So why would we do that? I just don't get it. I know a lot of people teach it, and that's a business thing, and I get that. But ethically, well, that's why I charge high and see less. I was wondering whether you use specific language when working with autistic people. No, no. I don't change my pattern. I may slow down just so they understand me a little bit more, or I may speed up. But the idea is about keeping focus and attention. No, I don't use anything specific now. Isn't more right charging people for results that for sessions and time or time? No, well, isn't more right charging people for results than for sessions or time? I mean, to be quite honest, the time's irrelevant to me, because if I'm done in 15 minutes and I'm only patching up, to be quite honest, if I'm done in 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I'm done. So the time doesn't really matter. And I go for the results, really. I go for result based more than anything else. Programs take away urgency. They take away responsibility. Absolutely. They take away responsibility, because if they think they're hanging on to you and hanging on to you, then guess what? I hope that answers your question, Christos, by the way. Assuming that trends are fashion led, what do you think will be the next one in hypnotherapy? Oh, good question, Chris. It's a bit like fashion, isn't it, really? Yeah, what's the next one swinging around? I would strongly suggest that burnout and trauma are going to we're going to be hearing a lot about trauma in the next 18 months, because we are getting a lot of trauma now, but people are still in the mix. So I still think that that those people that are in doctors' environments, burnout and trauma, because and especially police officers. I speak to police on a daily basis. I'm telling you now, I speak to coppers no end. And a big thing about that is that they've all been flogged. They've all been flogged and flogged and flogged. And now the pressure's starting to come off, and they go, oh, you can have some extra time off now. You can have your annual leave. That's when the shit's going to hit the fan. I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's it. So yeah. So I think trauma is a big thing at the moment, but I think that that's the big wave of shit that we're going to see next. So, and I know that's an ongoing one, and people have been doing that, but I actually do think there will be an explosion of it straight afterwards. But yeah. Hi, Max. Good evening, mate. Okay, Patrick. I think this is going to be the last one, ladies and gents. Yeah, it probably is. Okay, could you quickly explain how you describe Peppa Pig to the clients again? And I know you've said it before. 2 seconds. So Peppa Pig. Okay, Peppa Pig. Or somebody sent me a message the other day. If you can't find Peppa Pig, go to Amazon and get what's called an energy stick. It's about 6 inches long with 2 silver things at the end, and when you touch it, it does the same principle as this. All right. The idea is I tell them that their body's energy. All right, that there's energy in their body, and if there's a blockage, the EFT model, there's a blockage or anything like that, and as soon as you touch Peppa Pig, Peppa's dead due to the fact of Stan chewed its arse off. The thing is that when you touch like that, and then they let go, then there's energy being sent around. Actually, it's an electrical circuit causing a closed circuit. But the same token is that if I get them to hold Peppa Pig's hand and I touch their finger like that, I show that there's energy going around. That in itself will change clients' beliefs straight away. I've worked with special forces guys, counter-terrorism firearms officers, and they all shit themselves with Peppa Pig when I show that. David would prefer Peppa Pig. Yeah, so yeah, get yourself to eBay. Yeah, absolutely, Wendy. So, Patrick, I hope that answers your question. That was definitely a 6 inches. Yeah. It was 6. So, guys and girls, okay, so let's start wrapping it up. Look, because at the end of the day, you know, I'm Chris. Yeah, I was Smudger 9 when I was in 9 battery. So yeah, and just remember, for whoever put that comment a minute ago, it's not the size of the organ, it's the cathedral it plays in. So yeah, I was Smudger 9, or Smudger. I was always Smudger. But when I joined the police, I wasn't allowed to be called Smudger because it may offend people. A lot of people used to call me Smithy or Smudge anyway. But yeah, Smudge. Good. So I'm really chuffed for tonight, guys and girls. I'm going to update you on next week over the weekend. I'm actually holding out for somebody. What we definitely have got next week. Is Bank Holiday Monday here in England, by the way. So I'll put something up tomorrow morning about if we can do anything Monday, but it is Bank Holiday. I haven't got anything planned except for sorting out a ton of paperwork. But next week you will have a guest presenter on here. We will be doing another session, and we will be having a live session with Stop Smoking. All right. So we have got 3 things planned for next week already. One is going to be a guest presenter to talk about their stuff. I'm hoping I can get Gary Cole as soon as I put the phone down to you guys. One is going to be a session with one of the members. We're going to do a session like that, and I'm going to try and do some different techniques and some other ideas just to throw them in as well. And the other one is a live session with somebody in here, and we are going to do the full hypnosis stop smoking cessation. Like I said, we're already a week out, and I will discuss this next week with you to remind you, but we've already done the pre-session with him. So to just see, is hypnosis good for him? Before I take his hard-earned cash off of him, is hypnosis good for him? To set the parameters and to give him his responsibilities, start cutting down slowly and effectively in his own time. They're the things we do that. But when I do that, we'll do that. I will give a lineup as soon as I put this down to you guys tonight. I'm going to contact Gary, and I'm going to see if he can come in for next week. But then we'll go from there. And then don't forget, Friday is Q&A again. So every Friday is Q&A. So we'll just have we'll just do that. So I just want to say thank you very much. Don't forget, guys and girls, congratulations to the 2 people who won the sessions with me tonight. Obviously, that comes through like a rate of knots. And like Jackie says, I do need a partner to help me out with that. But on the same token, don't forget, guys, if you want to be a member, don't forget, this is a membership site. If you want to get some of the videos in the background, and if you want to watch the diploma being streamed in July, just do that. And don't forget, the £90 one gets a session with me as well. So, folks, I'm wishing you a lovely, lovely weekend with your families over this bank holiday. I wish you loads of love and all that lot. Be safe out there, and go enjoy it. And I shall see you next week. And don't forget, as ever, folks, go out there. Practice. And when you finish practicing, practice some more. All right? Go out and go do it for me. Go out and enjoy yourselves, folks. It's a bank holiday over here in England, and I shall see you next week. I'll put the itinerary up over the weekend. And don't forget, guys, like Eddie's just said, if you could just put some likes up for me and share it with your friends and family who may have some interest in hypnosis and not the bad language. So, folks, on that note, much love to you. Be good. Don't forget, for those people that just joined us, there's 2 months worth of videos you can go back on. Guys, see you next week. All the best.